This is Ella Rosenfeld, and I'm reporting to you for UCIrvinesports.com and Anteater TV. I'm here in the Bren Center after an amazing 3-game sweep of Stanford. I'm here with Ian Castellana, who had an amazing game. Ian, thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure, Ella.
How do you feel about that game? I mean, this is one of your first games really being a solid starter on the team. How did it feel coming in and making such a solid impact?
You know, we always talk about how our depth on this squad is unparalleled. We have a lot of guys that are pretty good, could start anywhere else in any other program.
Yeah.
You know, I had an opportunity to start tonight, and I just kind of made the most of it.
Yeah. And you led the team in blocks with 6, so congratulations on that. What have you been kind of working on in practice to really solve the block? Because that's kind of a problem your team's been having this year, is really closing the block on the outsides. What have you been working on?
I feel like a lot of our guys have been serving a lot tougher, which is kind of what we did last year. So we kept them a little off balance with the serve. So it was easy for me because I'm not very solid at blocking in the middle of the court, but pin to pin I'm pretty good. So we kept them off balance a little bit, went pin to pin. They're big guys, Brian Cook and Steve Irvine got set a lot of balls, so pretty simple game.
Yeah. And what do you think you've been really working on to kind of get a starting spot on this team and beat out Colin and Jason, just for this game specifically?
I think it just lined up well. I mean, they're a pretty defensively strong team. We had to run the middle of the court pretty fast, and I feel like they were used to running our 1 balls, and I got to run 31, so it mixed up a little bit.
Yeah, I was noticing that you were kind of this is the first time we've, as the crowd, have seen you run some 3s. How do you think that kind of changed up the offense and made Stanford freak out?
Well, as a little middle, most of the guys on our team are about 6'8", so usually they can run a 1 ball, and it's no big problem. I'm a pretty short guy. I'm only about 6'5", maybe 6'6" on a good day. So I had to mix up my routes a little bit more. And so what I try to do is beat them by speed.
Yeah.
At 31, if I juke in the 1 and go out to the 31, if I can get the middle to stop a little bit, I usually can score. Yeah. And I usually beat by speed. I don't usually go over the top of guys. Yeah.
And you guys are now, this is really getting close to the end of conference. What do you think this win is going to mean, finishing out conference and going into MPSF?
You know, it's nice to beat Stanford. You know, they were kind of the big cahoots when I was a freshman. It's nice to play them, beat them. And we got to play Pacific tomorrow. You know, it's a nice win. We got to put that in memory banks. We got to play against Pacific. They're going to be good. I mean, they got a big opposite hitter, pretty good middle, and some good pins. So I just go we go one match at a time. That's our philosophy. And I feel like if we can get another win tomorrow, it'll be a nice weekend. Get a good way to start school.
So Chris, this was obviously an amazing 3-game sweep of Stanford. How does it feel, and how do you think this win is going to help you guys finish out the rest of conference and go into MPSF strong?
Well, I think for a little while we were kind of, I don't know, we were sitting in a waiting zone where we weren't really making much progress and we weren't really climbing up in the ranks. We were just kind of sitting where we were. And kind of what happens towards the end of the season is you have to make a run. You have to pick a point where you're going to make a run if you're going to try to win a championship. And I think this was a good time for us to pick that with 3 matches left in conference, 1 more match after that against Penn State, and then heading straight in the MPSF tournament. Right now is a good time for us to kind of turn it on, feel like we're the underdog every match, and be able to play to our potential.
And as a setter, you're obviously the one controlling the offense. How did it feel to kind of set some of the new hitters in the game, like Kyle and Ian? How did you handle that?
It was good. A lot of it's just having trust for those guys to be able to come out and have a good night, setting them in good situations early, getting their confidence going, telling them to keep being aggressive, that they don't have to second guess themselves on any swing. And for me, it's just being able to put the ball in the right place for each individual guy.
Yeah, and on Ian specifically, we saw you running kind of like a 31. That was the first time we had seen that. What was the decision in that?
Yeah, Ian, I mean, he's probably the fastest middle we have in the gym, and it's fun being able to move him around in different routes because he has a good arm, he hits the ball fast, he makes other blockers move, and we traditionally run a lot of front ones, but it was good to throw Stanford off balance a little bit by being able to move Ian around and get them on their toes.
So Kyle, this was obviously a huge win for your team and also for you specifically. You led the team in kills, 14. It was career high, team high. How does that feel?
It feels great, Ella. I mean, I was just super excited that my swing's finally working for me. I was really confident, hitting high, listening to my coaches and teammates. It felt great to do it.
And we talked to you after UCLA last week, and I mean, I think that there is not a single person in the crowd who would just saw the extreme difference in this match and how just like your calmness, your confidence, everything was just there tonight as opposed to last week when we kind of saw some hesitance, which is understandable. What have you been working on this past week to kind of build that up?
Just team confidence, self-confidence, doing a lot of positive self-talk, listening to my coaches a lot, and just getting back to playing simple, relaxed volleyball. Just playing Irvine volleyball, playing our game.
And what do you think this win is going to mean for your team, just finishing out the end of conference, going into MPSF?
This was a big win, big momentum swing, I feel, because this last weekend was a little shaky for us.
Yeah.
So this is a big win, beat Stanford in 3. Just basically getting our swag back is what I'm calling it. what a couple of us talked about. So, yeah, getting our swag back.
And you guys had a couple disappointing losses last week to UCLA. What had Niffin been telling you guys throughout the week to kind of build up your confidence to finish out this game?
Get back to Irvine volleyball. Get back to what we do best, running our systems, playing relaxed, beating teams big like this. That's basically what he's been telling us all week.
And the outside is obviously a stacked position for UCI. You have some amazing competition. What is that like in practice, just competing against so many great players?
It's great. I mean, watching Kevin Tilley and Connor Hughes do all those finesse shots, I threw a couple in there today. I was trying to imitate them. But just watching them, been playing with them is phenomenal. Just getting all the reps with them, and then it's a tough position because it's so stacked. So